Hello everyone, welcome to Momentum IAS. In the last lecture, we discussed the prelims question of 2021. In this video, we are going to take this quest further and apply the knowledge that we have learned in the previous video to solve the questions of UPSC 2020 related to geography. In this video, I will also share some of the tips and tricks that can be used in some unpredictable question, as the paper that came in 2020 was said to be a little bit unpredictable. But let's see how through common sense and logic we can make it more predictable and rational. Let's start. So, as yesterday we have seen that the question that came was from climatology. This is a solely question based on oceanography. This shows that despite asking questions from map and current location, UPSC is still sticking 1-2 questions from the core geographical area. Let's see how we could have solved this question. The question says, with reference to ocean mean temperature. We should know what is ocean mean temperature. The mean temperature, the average temperature that our ocean surface has. Which of the ocean surface as well as deep ocean also has, which of the following statement is correct? Ocean mean temperature is measured up to a depth of 26 degrees centigrade isotherm, which is 129 meters in the southwestern Indian Ocean during January to March. Now, in case of oceanography, there is, for example, let's see this is the column of our ocean. This much area comprises of the surface and this is the deep ocean. Now, the change in the temperature is not very sudden. The change in temperature is gradual. Moreover, there is not a particular fixed point where such transition can happen. In this case, the information that is given is very specific. So, you have to be absolutely sure to correct it. But since our broader understanding says that sudden change in the temperature does not happen and it takes place gradually, and it cannot be constant at a particular point, it can vary from point to point. So, there is a very high probability that this statement is incorrect. This is the trick you should keep in mind, that we should try to maximize our probability to solve the question in a prelims exam, because in very less cases, in only 20 to 30 questions, you are absolutely sure about what an answer is. In rest of the questions, you have to guess or let's say logical elimination to arrive at a particular answer. Let's see the second statement. Ocean mean temperature collected during January and March can be used. Now, while I was discussing the western disturbances, I again said that in case of climatology and oceanography, things are interrelated, and can be used here is a very broad term. In maximum cases, such statements comes out to be true unless you are not absolutely sure that the statement given is false. Here, ocean mean temperature collected during January to March can be used in assessing the whether the amount of rainfall in the monsoon will be less or more. In very simple terms, they are saying that is ocean mean temperature somehow related to our monsoon or not? Well, if you are about the things in the news, there was a report where it was found that ocean mean temperature is somehow related to monsoon, and we already know that monsoon is a very complex phenomena which is based on various phenomena such as ITCZ, subtropical westerly jet stream, temperature of the Tibetan plateau, El Nino, La Nina, Indian Ocean dipole. This makes monsoon a very complex phenomena and very difficult to predict. Here also they have given evidence that somehow ocean mean temperature is related to monsoon. But even if we don't know that information, since it's a very broad term and we know that the things in the oceanography are somehow connected, there is a very high probability that this statement is true. So, if I solely play on probability, there is a very high probability that statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct, which means our answer can be 2. Look, the objective of this video is not to give you exact information about what the question can ask, but rather train you in the examination scenario then how the questions can be tackled in exam. So here the answer that was given was 2. Please keep such keywords in mind. Many times a student makes blunder while attempting such questions. So the takeaway from this question is that you have, despite contemporary trends, you always have to keep conceptual clarity in mind. Some very important topics, at least these two topics should be covered very comprehensively. Majority of the question related to concepts is being asked from these two topics only. So if you have less time and cannot afford to give much time to geography, please at least do these two topics. Let's move on to the next question. Now this question was totally taken from news due to Indo-China border dispute. But you have to understand that Siachen Glacier was not in news, the area around it was in news. So whenever any such issue is in news, you have to comprehensively cover the areas nearby it. Let's see what does it say. They have simply asked where Siachen Glacier is situated. But the question is not so simple, because they have asked the location of Siachen Glacier with respect to these 4 options. This makes this question a little bit difficult, because not only you need to know the location of Siachen Glacier, you need to know the location of Aksai Chin, Leh, Gilgit and Nubra Valley in relation to Siachen Glacier. Let's see the map. Now, this is our Siachen Glacier, this is Aksai Chin, this is our Gilgit-Baltistan region, and what here is Nubra Valley. So, while studying a particular region, you have to look at the proximity of that region, and in this scenario, studying through maps is going to be very crucial in geography. Yesterday I also pressed upon this issue that if you learn such things with the help of a map, it will help you to comprehensively cover things as well as discuss the things in detail. Now, if you have seen this map, even if they did not ask about Siachen Glacier or add some other component related to the Pangong Tso Lake, related to the Pangong Tso Lake or any other issue, any other place, you could have easily solved the problem. But if you have mechanically crammed the place, then it will be difficult for you to answer such questions. So, this was in news that time. In today's scenario, if you are preparing for 2022 prelims, then Russia-Ukraine crisis is very much in news. So, if I were to cover this topic geographically, please do look at the map of Ukraine, important cities, rivers and especially border countries. Now, the problem is with map is you cannot cover it entirely in one day. So, what you have to do is dedicate a particular time slot for the map and revise it regularly. So, in any such case, for example, Russia-Ukraine crisis and Nagorno-Karabakh region of Armenia and Azerbaijan conflict, you should know which of the countries border those areas. So, in such case, you need to cover this topic comprehensively. Look for the places in news, don't try to read it from there, go to your world map, zoom it, go to your Google map, zoom it, look at the bordering countries and cover it comprehensively. This can help you to cover a long range of topic in a very short span of time. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Look, this is again a conceptual question. People used to say to me that now geography trend of asking the conceptual question is on a decline. But yesterday also I showed you and today also I showed you that 2 questions from here are based on core geography. So we cannot afford to ignore geography, especially in case of oceanography and climatology. Let's see. The question says jet stream occurs in northern hemisphere only. No, this is incorrect. We know that jet stream are fast moving band of air that flows from to east throughout the globe. Now, don't look to the next 2 statements, just focus only on this statement. If this statement you have eliminated somehow, let's come to the options. This option is eliminated, this option is eliminated. Now, when 2 options are eliminated, it gives you an immense confidence that now I can solve this question, because now the probability of getting this answer correct is 50-50 even if you don't know the rest of the statement, and this probability is and this chance is worth taking in prelims. Let's see. The temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degree lesser than that of the surroundings. No, that is also incorrect. This is solely related to cyclones and its structure. This is a very basic topic in geography. In the eye of the cyclone is comparatively warmer and calm. So from here I can eliminate this option as well. If I eliminate this option, then we are only left with one option. Even if you don't know this statement, it doesn't matter. You have, sorry, this is not the answer. Answer is 2 only. Even if you don't know the statement, you can still arrive at the answer. You don't need to even know about the second statement. So you have to keep your common sense as well as alertness to its peak for eliminating such options. The takeaway from this question is you need to brush up on your core concepts as well as apply elimination where this will help you maximize the probability of correcting an answer. Let's move on to the next question and be quick. Now, many students complained about this question, that how can we solve such a typical question with so much of factual information? Means how am I supposed to know what is the production of pulses, what is the production, whether this pulse is grown in the Rabi season and Kharif season, and given the 3 statement makes this question a very difficult question. No, but that is not the case. Let's read the question, then I'll tell you the trick to solve the question. Now, black gram can be cultivated both as Kharif season and Rabi crop. Okay, I don't know this statement. Let's hold it for a while. In the last 3 decades, while the production of the Kharif pulses has increased, the production of the Rabi pulses has decreased. Now, unless you have not read something about it, some news about it, some editorial or some news article regarding this, you cannot be sure of this trend. This is a trend. Although you should know the broad trends about what is the production of pulses, whether the production of pulses is on a decline, whether India is the largest producer or not, that we will discuss in the upcoming question. But you should know the broad trends. But this is a very specific line that has been picked up from some or the other source, and you need not to know about such trend in detail. But now let's look at this second statement. Green gram alone accounts for nearly half of the pulse production in India. Now we know that there are variety of the pulses that we grow: gram, Kabuli chana, tur, moong. Since there are many pulses, the probability that I discussed in the first question, the probability of a single pulse constituting 50% of the production is very less. So even if you go by this logical trend, it is acceptable to mark this option as incorrect. And if you mark this statement as incorrect, option B, option C, option D automatically gets eliminated. So even if you don't know anything about a topic, but if you apply a common sense and try to eliminate this option and increases your probability, you could have easily solved this question. So here option is 1. You need to be very alert while attempting the prelims question, and you need not to get demotivated by a question that you don't know. UPSC might have given you something in that question to attempt it effectively just by using your logic and common sense. Okay. Now this question tells us that we need to learn about various crops, because in 2019 a question on rice exports was asked. In this slide also the question on this. Let's look at this question, then I will discuss about different types of crop. The crop is subtropical in nature. A hard frost is injurious to it. 210 days, this is a very cliche statement. About 50 to 100 centimeter of rainfall. A light well drained soil capable of retaining moisture is ideally suited for cultivation of this crop. Now focus on this, 50 to 100 centimeters of rainfall. We know that this and this requires very high rainfall. So just by this, forget about the rest of them, just by this statement we could have eliminated B and D. Now look at this. This is a very cliche statement as far as cotton cultivation is concerned, but even if you don't know this, why would sugarcane require frost-free days? If we compare cotton and sugarcane, and if you don't know about the exact figures of temperature and precipitation which these two crops require, even by then logic you could have easily said that in this case the cotton would be more appropriate answer. Again the trick is, first try to eliminate and then try to increase your probability of getting the correct answer through some logic. Don't try blind guess here. Even if your logic is wrong, it doesn't matter, but try to answer a question with the help of some or the other logic. You need to practice this logic in your test series. We have given you 10 free tests on Momentum IAS website. Please do look at it. They are very well framed. So in this case the answer would be cotton. Now about the crops that I am going to discuss. We have seen that recently the question on pulses was asked, the rice was asked. So you need to cover some or the other crops such as wheat, rice, sugarcane, tea, coffee. Oil palm was very much in news and the question was also asked in 2021. Pulses we have seen, millets. What you have to do in such crops? First learn about the temperature, then look at the precipitation, then look at the type of the soils that it grows, draw a map of India, and locate in which area such crops grow. This will help you to pictographically imagine, for example, draw the map of the soil and relate it with the rice producing area. You will see that the northern plains of India are very affluent as far as rice cultivation is concerned. So please try to cover such crops, because in many cases agriculture, the weightage of the agriculture is increasing, and covering the crop section will help you to eliminate or add value addition to your information that can help you solve problems. Now this trend is Now this trend is related to world geography. The questions that are generally asked from here are, here in this case it was rivers, about border countries, major lakes like Black Sea, Caspian Sea. So just by going on the past trend, you can cover majority of the question. In this case, the question is related to global rivers. The river is Mekong that flows in Asia, Thames that flows in UK, Volga flows across Europe, and Zambezi is in Africa. Apart from these rivers, what you have to cover is rivers some continent wise. If you look towards North America, then look about Mississippi and Missouri. If you are looking at South America, look for Amazon. If you are looking for Africa, look for Nile, Congo, Niger and Zambezi river. If you are looking towards Europe, then Dnieper, Dniester. So you need to cover major rivers, not on major rivers and cities related to those rivers. Let's see in this case. This is a factual question. So we know that Mekong is a river that flows through Asia and some of the East Asian nations and flows into South China Sea. Let's try to eliminate this and let's see what we get. Even if we eliminate one, we are able to eliminate the two options. That means we don't even need to know about where Thames flows. And even we don't need to know about where even Volga flows. Just by eliminating one option, you have eliminated the two options and made your job comparatively easier. That means the answer is related to 3 and 4. Now we know that Zambezi flows in Africa. Even if you don't know, you can just guess it, because now the probabilities has come down to 50-50, and I have once again highlighted that this chance is worth taking, because you are not even sure of 20 to 30 questions. So if you have to raise your attempt to some 80 to 85 questions to maximize your score, then you have to take chances. And if your chances have come down to 50-50, please do take it. So in this case, if you are aware about Zambezi, yes, it flows through Africa and flows into Indian Ocean. So answer is 3 and 4. But you have seen that even if we don't know about this, just by eliminating one option, we are able to eliminate two options, and we don't even need to know about these two options. This was the objective of this video, that even if you are not aware about the information, try to use your head and try to eliminate as much as possible to make your job of thinking very less. The takeaway from this question is, you need to plot major rivers, cities and the area where it flows. Which river flows into Black Sea, which river flows into Caspian Sea, the Mediterranean Sea is bordered by which country, the Black Sea is bordered by which country, Caspian Sea is bordered by which country. You need to memorize such factual information, because the questions frequently come from these areas. Let's move on to the next question. Now, when I was discussing vegetation, if you have not seen the video, please look at it. When I was discussing vegetation, I told you, you need to plot a map in which you have to plot many national parks. In that question, it was asked that which of the following national parks lie in complete temperate alpine belt. So you need to know the location of national park. In this also, you need to have at least a broad idea of where these national parks exist. So, which of the following protected area are located in the Kaveri basin? That means you need two informations here also. One is related to national parks and other is related to rivers. In this question also you need to know about the vegetation of a place and you need to know information about national parks. So you are saying that UPSC is mixing 2 or 3 topics together to form a question. So you also in your preparation have to be comprehensive, and to do so you have to do it through maps. There is a very famous saying in geography that geography should be done through maps. If you do it, you will cover maximum area in a very limited span of time. Let's plot this question. Which of the following protected area are located in the Kaveri basin? First, we know that Kaveri flows in the very southern region of India. Now, the national parks that were given were Papikonda, Nagarhole, Satyamangalam and Wayanad. Let's look at these two first. These two are very famous. In case of Papikonda, this is generally found in Andhra Pradesh region. Now Kaveri basin, Andhra Pradesh region falls here and Kaveri basin falls here. There is a very less probability that the area would be overlapping. So from here we could have eliminated Papikonda. Now let's look what would have happened if we have eliminated Papikonda. Option 2 is eliminated. So option 1 is eliminated, option 4 is eliminated. Now Nagarhole, Satyamangalam Reserve and Wayanad, these are found in very southern one. Nagarhole in Karnataka and these two near Kerala or Tamil Nadu border. So answer is C. But you can see that just by eliminating one option, you could have eliminated two options and increased your probability to again 50-50. So this is my motive, that even if you are not aware of the information, just by looking at some or the other information which is easily available in the question, you should try to maximize your probability. If you are increasing probability in 7 or 8 questions, then there is a high chance that out of 8 questions, you can do at least 4 correct. If you are able to do 4 correct, then it would fetch you 8 minus 2.67, that is equals to 5.33. And this is a game changer. In prelims, even 1 or 2 marks is game changer. If you are able to do this in around 10 to 20 questions, there is a high probability that you will end up in the positive score. So, in case of national parks, what you have to do, take an A3 map of India with political boundaries, and plot all 100 plus national parks on this. This will help you to memorize which national park is located in which state, and you can also arrange national park from north to south. You will also be aware about what kind of vegetation and soil is found in that area, which kind of rivers are found in that area. By interconnecting 5 to 6 such maps, you will be very strong in geography. Let's move on to the last question. Now, consider the following minerals: bentonite, chromite, kyanite, sillimanite. Now this is an extremely factual question. Here the scope of elimination is very less because which of the following are officially designated as major minerals? There is a document on government site which has given the names of major and minor minerals, but after coming such questions you don't need to memorize such files. It is better if you are aware about some or the other mineral that yes, this is a majority mineral. For example, if you are aware of this, that this is a major mineral or not, it is a minor mineral, you can eliminate such options. But in majority of the cases, these are very extremely factual question and you need to be 100% sure to get this question correct. So my suggestion is you should leave such question. By leaving such 5 to 6 questions won't affect your score but will prevent you from negative marking. So you need to be smart enough to decide which questions to attempt and which questions to leave. This is a kind of question which needs to be left. Here in this question, bentonite is not a mineral, answer is D. So in this video we have seen that through preparation through maps can help you comprehensively cover a topic. In the next video we will cover 2019 geography questions and we'll discuss some more tips and tricks. You should follow www.momentumies website for more such content and subscribe to our Telegram page for updates. Thank you.